right now there's just so many activist movements that to me they seem to have been taken over by that pathological altruism, and we see it on the transgender in the transgender ideology. We see it in the DEI, the climate catastrophization. Just there is just on it, and it goes on and on and on and on again. So in those sort of activist movements that do like to employ the witch burning, what's going on there? Because like you said, they can't all be pathological. So is it just the case that these are mainly agreeable, wanting to do good people who don't sort of think that they might be used as a useful pawns, for example, by a few, for example, narcissistic players sort of stoking these activist complaints? And how can we really sort of try and start addressing these issues?
This is a good question, and I think it's important to realize that these extreme movements happen both on the right and the left. So it's really, what's going on, that both sides could have these extremists that are really disruptive. Um, and I think part of what's going on is that social media gives a platform for really problematic and malevolent individuals to promote themselves and to really present themselves as doing something very, very good, in a way that we've never had, that ability for people. I mean, usually if someone is a problematic person, like let's say that they are, that successfully sinister kind of person that I alluded to before, well, oftentimes there's this undercurrent of people know, they work with that person and they know that that person is in reality a real jerk, and they're the and so it's a little harder for this malevolent individual to get right up to the top. But online, people don't need to know what you're really like. You can keep it hidden. You can be the world's biggest jerk to your family, to you're constantly losing, the friends that you're constantly losing to, but you can present yourself online as this sort of superstar who's a savior and so forth. So social media, I think, allows for that small percentage of society that can be narcissistic, malevolent, self-interested, but very good at couching things in terms of their being helpful to become leaders of organizations, and then take those organizations into more and more extreme positions. Because if you look, many of these organizations, there's an underpinning of something that is trying to be helpful and good for other people. It's just that when you take anything to an extreme, it can start to become really harmful. So I think
Mm.
that social media is a big problem. And what is a solution? I'm a little naive myself, but I think that we don't teach critical thinking in schools. We don't teach about the double-edged sort of empathy, that in civics instruction we can be incorporating these kinds of things. So it's early education where we could make a difference in helping students become less naive and more capable of thinking critically and acting with awareness in today's social media admired world.